Right, this is part 15 of my homeless diary. And it starts at 10:30 a.m. Stads Canal, 19th of the 9th, 2006. I will go into the small town centre to see if I can busk up some euros. Last night I had a bit of a result as I found a bit of ginger cake in the side pocket of the tent. It must have been there since I left last week. It tasted okay, especially as I was hungry by then. I played guitar in Wizard, and again no one took the slightest bit of notice. I did not quite have the €5 to buy a draw, so blew $1.20 on a coffee and €3 on a ready rolled joint. I now have 50 cents, so we'll go to Lidl and hopefully buy a loaf of bread. I have a jar of coffee and a jar of peanut butter. After my experience in Germany, I will only eat Onch biscuit as a luxury rather than a staple. No one offered to buy me a coffee while I was playing, so I had to keep topping it up from my flask. I was in there for about 5 hours, so made it last quite well. When I was at De Kroot with John, one of his friend's sons gave me about €4, which was very kind of him. He was not a cage fighter, but they used to do that thing on Eurosport, like taekwondo, but in a ring. K fighting or something. Anyway, he was very good at it, and he came from Oldenzaal, I think. Anyway, he gave me about €4. He heard me playing the harp and was impressed. I might not have gas for the stoves, but a petrol cooker that John gave me I might not have gas for the stove, but a petrol cook that John gave me. He also insisted, "You must have a knife." He took me to see his collection of knives, ranging from butterfly knives, you can play with it, to a 9-inch long bladed Bowie knife, knives small and large, stilettos, lock knives, as well as various hunting and commando type bayonet knives. I chose a small wooden handled lock knife, which I have in the bottom of my bag now. Actually, I have it in the other room next door. It's okay, but I think the steel's quite soft and it could do with a bit of hardening up really, and I think John said that as well. Anyway, it was nice of him to give me a knife because he thought I must have a knife when travelling out on the road. I have given my feet and armpits a dew bath using the shower gel that I bought from Lidl. I don't know if it will make much difference to my feet as my boots are pretty bad smelling at the moment. Well, terrible actually. I feel I should return to the UK for a bit, but the lack of funds is a real problem. Danny has tried to top up my phone, but without success. I need to go back and sort a few things out, like Ray's house for starters. Ray is a bloke I worked with when I was bricklaying. Bollocks, the tent was almost dry and now it's pissing down again. I hope it is only a shower, as the police are coming back to check that I have gone this afternoon. I am regretting leaving the cycling cape that John offered me behind already. Fuck it. I'll make another brew and see if the rain blows over. A bloke at Wizard did not recognise me from the time I was there before. My hair is so short now, number 3. I do look quite a bit different. He was trying to tell me where I could buy some oil, but it just sounded like a whole lot of bridges. You'll go over the big bridge, then along, and when you come to the small bridge, then you go until you find a small bridge with a building on it, then a small bridge. I was stoned and could not keep up with it all. Stads Canal, 18th of the 9th, 06. The rain has stopped now, but the tent is completely soaked again. I am hungry now, so we'll just have to pack it up wet. I've just found some coppers, so I now have 85 cents. So I should be able to buy a loaf of bread, but I'm concerned I might not have enough petrol to ride into town to start busking. I'm going to start singing louder. Now I have a proper plectrum. I can play better to sing along to. More rain, it says. 8 p.m. When the rain eventually eased, I packed everything up, then sat in the tent strumming for a while, watching the rain. I guess it was after 2 p.m. when I left. I headed towards the centrum, but stopped at Lidl to buy a loaf of bread. I managed to buy quite a large loaf and made sure it was fully cooked this time. I was sitting outside the shop under the cover of an overhanging roof, eating a peanut butter sarnie, when Case came up. Case is a bloke's name. He, like most people in Holland, spoke English very well. He said I would be better off round the other side of the shop, where people could see me. It was a good spot actually. I was leaning against the bottle bank, sitting on my rucksack opposite the trolley park. As the trolleys took 50-cent pieces, most of my earnings were in 50-cent pieces, and I was pleased about that. I must have started about 3 and carried pretty much non-stop. Case came back later with his wife Bernice. He said I could stay at his house and he would be back at 10 p.m. I was hoping to earn 12 or 15 euros today and was up to about 8 when a kind lady gave me a €5 note. Thank you, darling. I was knackered by then and worried about being too late for the petrol station. I was hoping for €5 petrol, €5 draw, and €5 for a coffee and something to eat, provided I did not drink too much coffee, as Case had offered me somewhere to stay. I packed up and went straight to Wizard. To save petrol, I did not go back to the one where my flask was filled, but headed towards Wizard, hoping there would be one on the way. I found a self-service one that did not take cash. I asked directions to find another, but came out on the road past Wizard. Either that or I drove straight past it. Anyway, I rode about 10 kilometres out of town before turning back a couple of times. I cannot believe how far I walked the first time. I went looking for it. Anyway, I stopped for a couple of PB sarnies and by 8 p.m. I was here. That's in Wizard. I bought a €5 drawer of NLX. I have finished my first joint and am going to have another with a coffee. My flask is already empty. I was wearing my scarf around my head this afternoon as it was quite windy and chilly. I mostly sang Beautiful, Blowing in the Wind and Watchtower. Even when I was hungry, I just carried on. You just dare not put the guitar down for a minute. I reckon some people could have seen you playing for an hour or so and are maybe thinking of giving you something. They might even have it in their hand, but if you've stopped playing to roll a fag, they feel as let off the hook and they walk by. But I reckon I might try there again tomorrow. I've left my guitar outside now as I'm just chilling. It's 9:45 and I am wrecked. I just want to play in peace. I'm not playing for nothing. I'm a professional. That's what it says. Stads Canal, 9:45. Oh, that's in the morning. Right, I'll stop this and start again. 9:45 in the morning on the 20th of September. So 11 minutes. Alright, that's the end of part 15. So